Evening. I think today was always going to be, the result would be secondary, right? So we're fighting with the emotions of 70 years of history and bringing the MLS to St. Louis. We're honoring the life of Anton and paying respect to him at the same time. And we knew coming up against a Charlotte team that was very gritty, very, very aggressive, very athletic, have some difference makers in their team. We knew this was going to be a very, very difficult challenge. And as the story so runs and unfolds, we go a goal down. We earn the right to get back in the game. We force an own goal. And then we start getting a grip. And I thought fantastic second half performance. So very proud of the boys and just love to now be part of the celebrations in St. Louis.
Bradley, did it seem like the team did a good job of controlling its emotions on a game like this and coming out and playing the game?
I think understandably so. You could feel a couple of edgy touches, a couple of nervy moments early on, which is totally understandable. It's totally normal. I mean, I knew what I was feeling, and the players have to go out and perform, right, like robots. So we knew it could be a chippy start, and it was. We get a handle of the game, then we go down. We have to deal with that and the emotions of that, right? Playing at home, first time. So there's a lot of emotions going on. But at the halftime, we managed to change a few things. And I think second half was a fantastic performance.
We'll go to Manuel, Julian, then Tom.
Hey, Manuel.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Kenya.
First of all, congrats. That was, when you look at that performance, that high press, I don't want to use the term gegenpressing, but that's pretty much how you would define it. Is that sort of the style that you're looking for, to force these turnovers, to keep the opponent always on the toes?
I thought the gegenpressing wasn't very on today. I thought the pressing was good, but when we lost the ball, I thought our gegenpressing was not very good at all. So moments to fix there for sure. I would like a little bit more on the first turnover, to be a little bit more aggressive against the ball. But credit to the boys, the recovery runs, the willingness to get back in the game, to get our control, get the shape, and then we press again and had many great moments. So I thought the pressing was fantastic. I thought the gegenpressing just okay.
So it was, I guess it's more, because you say pressing versus gegenpressing, right? I guess it's really forcing those turnovers.
Sure. I mean, and I think you could see that on full display tonight in certain moments, right? So it was just wave after wave after wave and relentless. So I would like us to, can we be a little bit more clinical? Can we be a little bit more penetrating in the final third? I think there's a lot of things to look at. But for the first and foremost, I said it in the opening statement, tonight was not about the result, right? Tonight was about the celebration of the city and what it means to the people to bring soccer to this town.
It's a very taxing style. Is this something that you want to keep going for all 34 games?
Well, we want to embrace the mindset of the St. Louisan. We want to embrace the culture of the community, right? And Lutz is here for a reason, and I think I'm here for a reason. And the players are bought into it. The players know exactly when we do it, we can really compete on the day. And when we don't, we could just be very ordinary on the day. So we have to really stay true to who we are and what we believe in and what we stand for.
Coach, both the goals in Austin you conceded came as a result of them exposing the half spaces in between your defense. And the goal today from Charlotte came from Copetti finding that space in between Parker and Nerwinski. Are you concerned that the 3 goals you've conceded so far have come in a similar way, and how do you plan on fixing that?
I don't think they came in a similar way. I think the Copetti one is more central, right? So we knew that they got off 37 crosses last time out in week 1, which is the most in the MLS on the opening weekend. So we knew it was one of our to-do lists, block crosses and close down space. So, yeah, unfortunately, we don't get out to block the cross. And Copetti, they have 3 DPs in their team. So Copetti, is a really good player. He's a very feisty character, and he's very good in the air despite his size, right? So, I mean, he makes himself felt in the challenges, and you can see why they have him up front there. So he works hard, and he can finish as well. So, yeah, we just got caught a little bit off the shoulder, but we knew how dangerous they were with their crossing game.
And then a couple of days ago in the preview conference, you talked about your high standards and how you want to hold this group to the highest standards possible. Are you worried at all that you haven't been able to keep a clean sheet so far this season?
No, I mean, the standards the boys set themselves, right? So they want to, if we score more than the opponent, all right, and get 3 points on an emotional day like this, and to go down the way we did, and then to come back, I think that's secondary, right? So I think we only give away 2 shots on target, if I'm not mistaken. So for us, we want to make sure that, yes, 100%, we want to defend from the front, which helps us defending at the back, right? So if there's starting to be gaps to appear, if there's moments of fatigue, we have to find new orientation and new pickup points, and then we go from there. But I just think you can see the willingness of the group to work, the willingness of the group to commit to each other, and we can see the outcome. So right now, yes, if over 10 games, if we still don't have a clean sheet, we'll look at it. But if we have 30 points on the board, after 10 games, we're not going to say anything either.
Coach, I want to ask you about noise. Can you compare
About
this
who?
Noise.
Noise,
the
yeah.
Noise
This
in
was
the
incredible,
stadium.
yeah.
Have you played in other games that you can compare that to?
I mean, I can't really reflect back into my career. That was too long ago. I'm not sure. But you just think of the piercing sound. Against Leverkusen, it was very quiet on a cold, chilly night with 20 degrees, right? And you were wondering how it would come out tonight. But last night, the party started, and the fans brought it today. And I said to the players, I said to the staff, this has been incredible, So a big thank you to the fans. This was something that you can't compare to Europe, right? So, I think we've set the bar really high. There's not too many stadiums with this atmosphere, I can tell you that now.
Greg, and I'll go to Matt.
The play of your goalie, your captain, St. Louis loves their captains. And I'm wondering if you reflect on how he performed tonight, and if you kind of what you saw from him in those moments, that the wagging of the fingers and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, listen, I mean, Roman plays with an edge. He's a proud character and he's a proud person. They challenged us early on a couple of set pieces. You can see them, dropping down in the small box and really making life difficult for Roman. But he's as calm as a cucumber, cool as a cucumber, So he takes everything in his stride, and he has a really good anticipation of the next moment, right? And that's what stood him by a very illustrious and successful career. So just the calmness and the confidence he exudes helps us, helps Tim, helps Kyle, helps Johnny, helps Jake. Just gives us a sense of calm and a sense of poise. And when we need to go quick, he'll do that too. So, we have I think we're very fortunate to have Roman in our ranks. And here in the city of St. Louis, we can all benefit from him and his standards every single day.
Bradley, how important was getting Blom in there from minute 1 and just being able to execute your scheme to the highest level?
Yeah, I think Blom plays a lot on his shoulders, right? I think I need to tone down the expectations a little bit, right? If you've seen the type of press and the media hype from back home in South Africa, there's a lot lying on his shoulders, right? So now just think about the guys we had many months ago integrating with the team. He's just arrived and he's playing catch up in terms of what we're trying to do. But he does a lot of things instinctively. And how we want to operate, right? So, and I think you saw that many moments in the second half. So, I think throw Blom into the deep end at the age of just 23. He's a big asset to us, but we want to bring him along in the right possible way, right? Without the demands and the expectations, and we have a lot of leeway for a lot of guys. And I think there's other guys that around him. If you think of Edu Leuven, I mean, man, what a performance, back-to-back games now. You can see the type of character. He's a bit of a baller, Definitely, you put him against the wall and he'll get out there, he'll come out swinging. So, we've challenged him in many ways against the ball as well. And he's responded every time on game day to those challenges. So, I think credit to the whole team, though. They were magnificent.
Coach, I want to ask you first, you're wearing the Anton Wax Pin. Can you talk about how this tragedy has affected your boys, your club, and what it means to you in the soccer community? Yeah,
it impacted us pretty closely, right? We were meant to play Charlotte 2 or 3 days before Anton passed. The next morning we got notified and we were told, obviously our scrimmage, understandably so, would be cancelled, right? So from the very beginning we felt a part of this. I think the league has felt a part of it, and we're all in mourning, right? So we knew that obviously Charlotte playing in the way they do and the way they did, they carrying that every single day with them. And I think it's just, I said it in my opening statement, right? This game is much more than just a result. first and foremost, this game was for Anton and the people of St. Louis. So in that we came out victors on the day, not expected. Just in terms of the whole process, I mean, we're truly happy. We'll take the 3 points, but there was many more messages than the result today.
And then after the first 2 games, a lot's been said about the Bundesliga influence on City. Can you talk about how whether or not that has contributed to the chemistry of the squad and what you see from that style of play and how they've done so far?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I think we have a very good blend of different characters in the team, different qualities, right, and different age groups. So everyone brings something to the table, whether it's a little bit of experience, whether it's a little bit of quality, whether it's a little bit of knowing the league. So, you know, we don't say one is better than the other or one, but I think it's a perfect mix of all these culmination of what we believe in, what we stand for, what the philosophy needs, and what our principles require on the day to be successful. So after 2 games, we have a good snapshot of where we want to go and where we want to be. And, you know, I think we have a good blend of guys with MLS experience. This, for me, is first and paramount, right? MLS experience. A lot of guys during preseason from Europe were talking about just the travel and just the time zones and, you know, just thinking about the intensity levels we train at. Some of the guys were wanting 2 sessions a day. But because of how intense we trained, you know, this became obviously apparent and aware to the guys that they didn't need 2 sessions. If they commit to what they are doing and trust the process, then we can get everything sorted out with the way we're trying to periodize this group. So we've seen many good things through this preseason and the first 2 games.
We'll go to Andy, and we got time for 2 more after Andy.
Coach, how happy are you to get this one finally done? I know obviously it's a big anticipated game, but how happy are you that you finally got through with it?
Yeah, I was happy last week to get that off our shoulders. You know, last week was very emotional. This week was almost a joy, a celebration, right? So I think to go through the way we did, and it's funny how 3 days after a game where, you know, expectations were one way, and now expectations are totally opposite, right? So I think that's the beauty of success, and we need to take that on our shoulders and embrace it, challenge ourselves to step up again, because the road doesn't get easier from here. We know next week, Portland, right? A very, very tough opponent away from home. So we'll reflect tonight. We'll have training tomorrow, and we'll give the guys off on Monday, and we'll go again.
You said the word expectations. I want to know, obviously for expansion, sometimes it's hard to judge what those expectations are. 6 points, 6 goals, 2 games, 2 wins. What are your thoughts on these expectations? Have they exceeded what you guys have thought about?
I told the group the standards they set and they want to set, they drive the standards themselves, right? So I might create and deliver a platform for them, but it's them to execute. But it's their journey, right? So I'm always accompanying them on their journey. And for me, I mean, I don't know where I read it or heard it. You know, some people doubted us for 4 games over 34, 4 victories, you know. So at least we're halfway there, and we'll take it. Once we get to 4, we'll reassess.
Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Klaus. Obviously, he gets an important goal tonight, important goal in the first game. He does much more than just score, but how important is he that he has hit the ground running so quickly for him and the team?
He's a very lovable guy, right? I think culturally, he embraces what we're trying to do. I think tactically, he understands exactly how we can reward him. And I think the quality levels that he shows in the moment, I think is something that is very unique to this league, right? He has a knack of scoring goals wherever he's gone on his journeys. And we're just proud to give this place of St. Louis that he can call home. And that was the only thing he ever longed for. The day I met him, he said, I want to call this my home. I'm tired of going on loan, coach. I said, okay, we'll get you. This is your home. And so it's been a great story for him. And it's up to us to continue to tirelessly work for him, to reward him and get him the ball in certain spots because he knows best how to score goals.
Tom, we'll wrap up with you.
Well, speaking of Klaus on the own goal, I mean he's in that, but between him and Leuven, I mean it's like involved in almost in all sorts of things throughout the game.
Yeah, I think, I mean, playing with 2 strikers in the first half helped us tremendously trying to put pressure on the back line. Okay, so Joachini had a really good game in my opinion. Emptied the tank, worked hard for the group, and committed both sides of the ball. Worked tirelessly, and then we start making a few tactical switches. Leuven can play a 10. Leuven can play the 6. He's suited to the 8. So, when we have the ball, we know we can try and get him the ball, and he becomes the 8/10 now and get up the field. So, and then Blom becomes a big moment for him, because then he gives the balance to Leuven. So I think there's little pieces of this puzzle that we know we're still far from finished and far from polished, but we can see with a couple of tweaks where this can start moving us to.
Have you been working on the back pass from the opposing team play in practice?
Yeah, again, opponents like to reset the game to get their rotations organized and set, right? The minute you take that away, you take away their game plan and the game model. So, we just have a knack of standing in the right place. I'll call it that.